Anyway, we're going to talk about blockchain in gaming. This is a theme I've heard a lot about actually in the recent, half a year or year, and I'm looking forward to this. And I want to welcome two guys, Boris Klukan and Róbert Bobor. I made it. Okay, guys, come here. And applause from Corpo, by the way. I'm very sorry.
Okay, so hello everyone. I know this is the last one, so I will make it quick. Let me start with the introduction of our company called Corpo. We are a game studio based in Bratislava with focus on blockchain technologies, and our main goal is to onboard as many gamers as possible from the Web 2 environment, so the classical games, to Web 3 environment. And the way we want to do that and accomplish that is by creating our products in such a way that the end user doesn't even have to know that there is some blockchain technology used on the background. My name is Róbert Bobor, as already mentioned. This is my colleague Boris Klukan. And I will start more technically, but top level, so everybody would understand. And then Boris will discuss our utilization of blockchain in our company and what are the benefits. Okay, so what is blockchain? Blockchain is basically a decentralized database of blocks. Decentralized meaning that many computers and servers across the world have partial or full copy of the data of the database, and they are connected and communicating together through blockchain protocol, and also validating all transactions which are happening on the chain. Every block is basically just a set of instructions called transactions. These instructions only contain what data should be changed, not the whole accounting book, which you can imagine blockchain as, the accounting book, which holds addresses and their balances. And every time a block is broadcasted on the network, these data are changed. But for you to keep the accounting book, like in the format of addresses and their balances, you need to go from the first block, synchronize the whole blockchain, and in the end, you get the accounting book, like which wallet has what balance and so on. I will discuss it a little bit further in the next slide. So yeah, this is what Bitcoin was basically like, the accounting book. And the big step was so-called smart contracts, which came in 2015 with Ethereum. The first smart contracts were tokens. You might have heard about tokens. And then NFTs, which are a few lines of code, really nothing complicated. And with those few lines of code, you can really do like a lot on the blockchain. So you can also imagine the token smart contract as an accounting book holding addresses and their balances. And with your wallet, which is address on the blockchain, you can send out a transaction which will instruct the blockchain that you want to decrease your balance and increase someone else's balance. And that's basically all there is about the transaction when you are sending your tokens. So it's really like just quick math, and that's all. And then you have some custom smart contracts, which you can be really creative with. You can do also with few lines of code, because blockchain is really minimalistic in these factors. You can do asset exchange, marketplace, art. You can distribute royalties to artists. You can do staking or locking, flash loans, and there's also use in real estate, governance, and so on. I would like to talk about a little bit in detail about for example, the royalties or flash loans, so you'll get the basic sense of how you can actually distribute those royalties. So you can imagine that you have an NFT, a basic NFT contract, But in addition, there is also a simple information on the contract saying what percentage of sell price should be distributed to the original artist. And every marketplace, every time there is a sell of NFT, they will just look at this information, and they will see the address and the percentage, and they will just simply transfer the tokens or any asset in which the buyer paid for, and they will transfer those tokens to the original artist. And also interesting concept is the flash loans, because it's a loan which doesn't require any collateral and is also paid back in the same transaction in which it was borrowed. So you will borrow money, use them, and pay it back in this one transaction. That's why it's called flash loan. Okay, and what are the problems of the chain when we were talking about the gaming industry? The main problem is speed, because you cannot wait for block to get confirmed, which is sometimes even minutes. So you can be sure that you actually hit the target in, for example, FPS game. Then there are some integration limitations, and that is because communication with blockchain is mostly very, very direct. Like you need to communicate with those nodes which hold the copy of the blockchain and tell them exactly how they should change the state of smart contracts or the blockchain itself. And also there is insufficient documentation on a lot of topics regarding blockchain. So if you decide for the integration, you might run into problems for which there isn't Stack Overflow answer. Also, there is need to scan the blockchain, because you cannot just ask the blockchain like what is the balance of this and this address. You need to scan whole blockchain, scan all the changes that have been made since the beginning. So basically synchronize your local copy, and then you can actually see what wallet holds what balance. And also there's a lot of projects in the space which are really like spamming the blockchain and adding obsolete data to it, making it either slower and also like the actual size of blockchain gets increased really quickly if you spam data which shouldn't even be there. And what are the possible solutions for this? Solana is also one of the blockchain introduced in recent years. They introduced clustering, which can actually help the blockchain solve hundreds of thousands of transactions per second, while, for example, Ethereum can only do a few hundred per second. Also, development of new frameworks would be really helpful because they will simplify the whole integration process. They will perform a lot of background validations, so the newcomers and new programmers who want to implement blockchain solutions into their games or products, they don't need to think about them anymore. They can just rely on the framework, it will do it for themselves. And simplified data access, which I talked about, like, for example, you can synchronize the blockchain and then you can access each wallet and their balances or any data related to it, and you don't have to scan the blockchain by yourself. And also the most important thing is to think about the core architecture. But regarding that, my colleague will go into much more detail, because not everything has to be on the blockchain. Then you're just spamming the blockchain with data which are not supposed to be there, because a lot of solutions, like for example our game, which we are preparing, can run lots of logic on conventional servers, and just the thing you need the blockchain for example like transparency or trust, you'll use it for that. And that's for my part. And now I will let my colleague Boris explain the benefits and our utilization of the blockchain. Thank you.
Thank you. Hello. So my name is Boris. I was already introduced, and I will talk about what can bring the blockchain to standard gaming industry and how to do it without bothering user with new technologies, with the blockchain and all this kind of the stuff around. So let's start with the benefits that we can bring. What happened? Okay. The first and main thing is transparency. We all know there are a lot of haters, we all know there are a lot of cheaters, and there's always discussions if some pro gamer is cheating or not. They are trying to review the videos and stuff like that. Imagine that after each pro gaming game, the whole logs of the game is saved on the blockchain and anybody can access it, right? So there will be no discussion about the cheating or about some harassing people or something like that. So that's the first benefit we can solve, the transparency. Another big benefit is the real ownership of the in-game assets, because these days, if you buy some in-game assets, let's say you buy some skin for the CSGO, right? Who owns the asset? The Steam is telling you that you own the asset. But when they get hit by the ransomware and their database get encrypted, will you still own your asset? Are you able to move it somewhere? Of course not. This is something that blockchain can very easily handle by the NFTs and by the wallets. So it allows people to really own their digital assets, what they paid for or what they acquired during the gameplay, right? So this is a very big benefit that you can keep your both assets on your own wallet, not putting them into any system that can like lose them or do whatever with them, right? Another option, if you not willing like to be using centralized solutions for your NFTs, are the smart contracts. It's called locking smart contracts, where you can easily just put some NFT to company smart contract. The smart contract got its code open, so everybody can see that the smart contract cannot do anything with the NFT, just log it and return back to the sender address after. So there's, again, no way how to get scammed, right? Yeah. And another big plus is that you can easily move those assets with your friends, borrowing the CD key if it's represented by the NFT, borrowing your favorite hero where you're not playing, or just exchanging your asset with your friends to not spending that much for the new heroes and stuff like that, right? So then with the true ownership also comes some options for the monetization. If we imagine trying to monetize some in-game asset in standard game, for example, in some Steam games, you will immediately get banned for monetizing your assets, for selling. And there's also a big plus about the blockchain, because we don't allow only selling on the secondary market, the assets I no more use. Imagine you spent, for example, 5 years ago for the heroes on the League of Legends. You no more playing League of Legends, you're playing Dota. You can sell those assets or exchange for the Dota assets. And you don't need to spend anything more. And we also can rent those assets directly on the chain. I can rent some asset to different wallet and it will get returned automatically. I again cannot be scammed or frauded somehow. So yeah, again, we can do the real life example. Guys playing on the college, having some MMORPG like World of Warcraft, having a lot of stuff there. They don't want to lose it, but they know they will don't have time to play next half year. So they still can rent those assets to somebody else and make some money out of it to pay their subscription for the game or whatever. And of course, the interoperability. We all know the word metaverse that everybody is talking about. The metaverse itself is talking about some interoperability of digital assets between the virtual worlds. The easiest ways to do it with actual technologies are NFTs. Just follow the standard, and that's it. No big deal. It's pretty doable over the NFTs. Yeah, so we talked about the benefits very briefly, and let's say, okay, this is all great, let's go for it. But how hard it will be for you as the developers or for the gaming companies to implement this kind of the functionality, because it not just starts with one smart contract, it not just ends with one minting of the NFTs. The NFTs are all over the internet, but they are not in the game, so you need to implement somehow. So it will be best if I will describe it on our progress, how we approached it, because that's how I can impress myself well. So we started in 2018 with first web browser game that were made out in the Angular. Crazy, I know. And we like just jumped straight ahead to it and did not think about like other implementation. We made the login via the MetaMask, so the users were able to log in using their crypto wallet, and we also minted some NFTs, so there were in-game assets that they were able to use. Directly in the game, you were able to buy those assets. So there were no supporting website for that, no market, nothing like that. Everything was happening in the game. So we were closed in the Web3 space. We used web browser, and yeah, we were happy. Our smart contract did get triggered pretty much, and people started liking our game. But we did want to step up. The Angular definitely isn't a framework for making games, so we used Unity that days. But we used it, we did need to still somehow interact with the blockchain, so we use it inside the web browser. What, again, isn't the best practice. Actually, it's one of the worst practices, right? So we start doing the second version of the game. It was called Trader Manager, and it were working in the web space, and it was using Unity inside. In the web space, because thankfully to that, we was able again to talk to the blockchain over the implementation that's called Web3. In the Traders Manager, we did think, okay, the NFTs, everybody got the NFTs. How should we like be different from others? And at that time, our investors and some partners start talking to us and start challenging our daily numbers, because we were increasing the daily users pretty fast, and they were a little bit skeptic about it. So what we made was very simple smart contract that user needs to trigger before they enter the game. Who will ever give his key for his crypto wallet? Imagine you providing somebody your PIN to the internet banking. Nobody will do it. So it's clear proof that the user confirmed the transaction. And that's what helped us to prove our users. Thankfully to that, we were awarded with the DApp of the year, decentralized application of the year, based on this user flow. Okay, so we had some user base, we had working game, we had some community, and people start talking like they want to trade those assets. But again, we in crypto space, so some scammers came, and like they were sending from one wallet to second, okay, I will then send you money and stuff like that. And like we start feeling that the web game itself isn't enough for users to manage their asset. Again, like the Steam and CSGO assets, you can manage your assets in the Steam. You don't need to launch the game, right? And with the renting options and so on, we did need really something that will manage those assets for the users. So we came out with our Corpo ID product. That's basically dashboard for all your in-game assets and a little bit more. This Corpo ID allowed us easy transfer people that don't know anything about the blockchain to our game, because the Corpo ID was doing everything on behind to satisfy the user and not even letting him know it's blockchain. So when you come to the corpo ID, you have two options. You can create your decentralized account over some crypto wallet, or you can use the standard registration process that whole world is using, like the Facebook account, any social login account, or registration over the email, over the phone number, and so on, right? So the users was not even knowing that they playing with the NFTs until we give them like email, hello, sir, do you know that you acquired 3 NFTs you can sell on the market? And that was the great bridge for acquiring the users from outside of the crypto inside our products. Of course, when we start talking about the corpo ID, we need to somehow deposit those NFTs or the crypto for trading or whatever. And of course, if I deposit it, I need to withdraw it somehow, right? And this was just built up for allowing people to monetize their assets because this was built up for the corpo market. You are able, in the corpo ID, to drag and drop your asset directly to our market without paying any fee, because it's still on our custody wallet or in your smart contract, and you can list it for the sale. So you still didn't use any blockchain function yourself. It was all made by our system on behind without you knowing it. And you can then do the auction, time-based auction. You can put the tags, categories like the eShop. But it's all the assets that there are in-game assets. Of course, our NFTs can be sold on any NFT market because we do them according to the standards. So any market can scan the blockchain, find them, and interact with them. We again did want something more for our users. Because real U is never enough, right? So we made the NFT minting smart contract, allowing people, artists or gamers or whoever, or the sound producers, to mint their own NFTs just by paying the fees. The fees are something that we cannot go around. The fees must be paid on the chain, but be talking about the few cents. So we allow the artists creating the NFTs directly on our market, even with the royalties, like Robert told before, and so on. After that, we did hit some problems because the market itself was centralized at the time. And if we're talking about the blockchain, of course, the decentralization is an important point, right? So we mirrored the functionality of the market directly onto the smart contracts. So even the most skeptic people can use our smart contract because they are transparent. Again, the code is open. Anybody can read it. Anybody can double check if he cannot be frauded over it. So we created these smart contracts allowing people interacting with our market directly on the chain. When we were ready with this, we start facing another issues because meantime, we moved our games from the web browser directly to the standalone client. At that time, we were using the robust infrastructure on the backend that were written in the Python. And basically, we had our own backend solution for the gaming engine in the Python. And we were able to somehow interact with the blockchain, thankfully to our backend. But the big issue was that we was using Unity at that time, and the Unity itself is locked for the Windows because of the C# and C# compatibility. I know you can run it on the Windows. You cannot run it in production on the Windows, trust me. We did need to solve like how we gonna to secure our dedicated servers, how the dedicated servers gonna to talk to our infrastructure so it allows the blockchain interactions, right? So what we came for is that we need to switch for the Unreal because of the C++. And because of the blockchain support on the C++ and all the libraries and all this kind of the stuff, also because of the security. The security in blockchain gaming is pretty important because real life example, if somebody is cheating in World of Warcraft for 1 week and killing everyone one shot, everyone is complaining, but once he get banned, everybody claps and go on. Nobody remember, right? If this happened in the blockchain gaming, you can lose your NFTs. So the security standards for this are pretty high. Yeah, for the citizen conflict, for increasing the security, we implemented the custody wallets for every single account, for every single product. What does it mean? The custody wallet is the wallet that the system manages for you. There are different mechanics how not even we know the key, but with your interaction, we can interact with your NFTs. There are different cryptic algorithms for this. So again, if we have some hack, so some guy gets to my custody wallet, it not affects anybody other's NFTs. And even if he somehow decrypted the keys, he will be doing the tons of the transactions that we definitely will catch and stop, right? So this helped us a lot with the security. And again, we was thinking like NFTs, everybody got NFTs. Okay, we added some skins and something like that, everybody got that. What we going to provide? We did change our NFTs, smart contracts, like upgraded them, create a new version that allowed us leveling and allowed us using the skins directly on the NFTs. Most of the companies that using the NFTs in the games and skins together do it like you got one NFT that representing the hero. You got second NFT representing the skin. And then you need to do 2 transactions, then third transaction to link those and unlocking them again and all around. How we approach this, and also by the leveling, you may pay, in most of the projects, you pay the fee for the leveling every time you leveling up. How we approached it is that we created modular smart contracts. Actually, there were few, not only one. And we still minting like the hero is one NFT, and the second NFT is the skin. But what are we able to? We are able to make the link directly on the NFT if you just owning it on your wallet, directly in the hero. So you pay 1 transaction for linking it, and if you try to sell it and send it to another wallet, both assets will be transferred because they are linked. The same goes with the leveling. We did not want to bother Web2 users because we know the importance of not bothering people by the blockchain. And imagine, again, you playing some game, your hero getting leveled up, and we telling you, pay us 12 cents. Otherwise, you're not going to level up. That isn't a good approach. So our NFTs, you leveling inside our infrastructure. We're tracking the experiences directly in the NFTs, but we're leveling them in our infrastructure. And only when you want to withdraw it or sell it or do something like that, at that point we're minting all the levels at the same time. What does it mean? It means 80 levels minted by 2 cents because 1 fee. Yeah, what we need to talk about are also the ERC20 tokens that are pretty important. You can imagine, you can think about these tokens like about the currency, about the standard fiat currency or whatever. The good thing about these tokens are that you can even use them as the fundamental tokens. What does it mean? It means that, for example, you are in the phase of alpha testing your game. And you need to hold the poll about some feature because you cannot decide with your game designers, right? So you want the community to decide. But you don't want bots to be spamming it. You don't want some trolls to be trolling it and stuff like that. You can allow only the holders of your token, only the wallets that hold your token to make a vote. And you can even weight that vote, but amount of the tokens they owning. So they don't even need to be currency. They still can be like voting points or whatever. Another good thing about these are the staking. Staking is basically the same thing that when you go to the bank, you sign the contract that you will keep 5K on your account and you will get 5K and 100 after a year. It's actually, the English word is missing for me for this. Never mind. Another thing is that in crypto space, a lot of vesting are made over these tokens, because these tokens most usually represent the evaluation of the company itself. And what does this mean? Like, you don't need to go to the Kickstarter and do the crowdfunding. What you can do, you do the good tokenomics, where you describe how the token will be working, what will it mean in the ecosystem, and then you start vesting by providing part of these tokens for some money. So your investor not getting one CD key or some land in game that actually he don't owns, right? No, he's getting the real tokens that he can sell on the market, buy on the market, do whatever what they want with them, or even stake them, right? Okay, so this was it. How we approach the blockchain and what we was trying to bring to the blockchain. It sounds great, right? But what I just described did happen since 2018 to 2022, right? It's 4 years of hard working with a lot of people and a lot of hours. So if you interested in somehow implementing this, I can provide a short guide, what you should look at and how you should approach it. But I would always recommend people to be focusing on something that they are specialists in. So if you are specialist in some kind of the gaming or directly in the gaming industry, many times it should be overwhelming to implement such technologies like this. There comes the B2B solutions. There are multiple companies that are providing the B2B solutions for gaming. You may do your research. I don't want to talk here like advertising our company, but we provide the B2B solutions as well. So how to? Let's take it from the top level. Of course, you need to plan early. This is the most used sentence in whole project management, right? Plan early. What does it mean? At the start of the project, you need to define what should be integrated in the blockchain and what shouldn't. Because, again, even the logs from non-competitive games should not be saved to the blockchain, so we don't spam it, we don't increase the response time, we don't increase the gas fees and stuff like that. So we need to define exactly what will be NFT, what those NFT will be representing by which attributes, because if I do my character that got strength, dexterity, and intelligence, I cannot work with stamina in future. I will not change the blockchain. So we need to define all the scopes that we need to cover. And then what we need to do, we need to identify what should be on the chain and what shouldn't be off the chain. One thing is what's possible, even putting on the chain. The second thing is it really needed on the chain? Don't we spam it? And after this, you need to make the risk assessment. The technology is pretty new. It's not documented well. Like Robert told, there are no top-level frameworks. So you're doing your implementation from the bottom. Many times you're doing the implementation in the languages that are pretty new, like they come from the C, for example, but got different compiler, you're hitting different errors, right? So you need to do the risk assessment right. And then you need to start to work on the on-chain solutions. Why you start to work with the on-chain solution first? It's because you will be making the adapter that will be reading that attributes and like fulfilling the data sets for the games. So you need to make sure that all of this is working fine. It's data driven, so you need to have your data first. This part of the on-chain solution is split into two parts, because when I was talking, for example, about the market or about the tracking of the active users and stuff like that, those smart contracts are interactable from any wallet, any kind of the wallet. Those are those that the users can use. Even the leveling can be like that. We just check our backend if it's fine to level it up and go on. But then there are the smart contracts that should not be accessed by everyone. That should be read. That should trigger, for example, 3 functions, but another five functions should be reserved for our system. For this, we use the system wallets and, for example, the log saving or matchmaking or whatever. The log saving shouldn't be done by the users. It should be done by our dedicated servers. So these are the 2 main parts. You need to focus on the on-chain solution. When we're talking about the on-chain solution, we're talking only about the smart contracts because they are on the chain. And then we have the off-chain solution, of course. For the off-chain solution, we're talking about, okay, we know that this wallet is having these NFTs with these attributes. The game still don't know nothing. It needs to be somehow orchestrated to it, and most often it's like you need to run some servers. You need to run some web servers with the REST API, or you need to run some dedicated server to talk over the UDP to the clients, and so on. This off-chain solution, however, is pretty hard. Even it sounds like, okay, I will transfer some data, I got them already. But like Robert told before, every block is connected to each other, and it's something like history. Imagine you deleting one commit from the Git. The whole Git is not usable anymore. The same is with the chain. So if we want to check user while he is logging, which asset should be accessible for him in the game, we need to have it fast. He cannot wait like 12 minutes until we check it in the history, right? So there should be the big robust solution that is scanning the blockchain and knowing about the changes even before the guy is going to log in. Like what we do, we scan the blockchain, we scan all the transactions of the connected wallets that we know that are connecting to us. We also scan all the transactions or all of the NFTs that are made by our smart contracts. And then we can like provide again feeling that they don't even know that there is some chain on behind. It's matter of the seconds after. Yes, and at the end of the day, you need this solution, these two different solutions to be talking together and providing the results that you planned for. So even the connecting these two solutions will not be that easy because again, the security steps down here, and you will be running no peer-to-peer gaming, because in the peer-to-peer gaming, the cheating will come. And you will run only the dedicated servers that needs to be secured correctly and be talking to other microservices that are handling the blockchain. For example, we got 16 servers for this. And yeah, tough security audit. That's really important to audit your smart contracts first before you start implementing them. And very important thing is to audit your whole system. I would highly recommend to hire some red teams, the professional pen testers for this, because it's never good if the company that creates the product do the security audit itself. It's never good, trust me. Okay, I hope that I didn't bother you. I tried to make it quick and painless, and here's the time for your questions. So thank you.
Does anyone have any questions? You can use Slido, and I think there's one question in Slido actually. What technology are you using to communicate with the blockchain? And what network are you using? Polygon, Avalanche, etc.
Actually, currently we are able to implement any kind of the Web2 blockchain, what's the Ethereum-based blockchain, by just extending the config in our solution. We're currently scanning, correct me if I'm wrong, Polygon, Ethereum, and Binance Smart Chain. Most of our NFTs lives on the Polygon and Binance Smart Chain. And regarding the other chains like Algorand and these kind of the chains that so-called like version 3, Robert can talk more.
Okay, so currently we don't support Algorand, but yeah, our solution is designed in a way that if we would like to add some more blockchain, it's a matter of config and restart of the servers. And for the communication, we use RPC providers which are available. We don't use any free RPCs, but you can use Moralis, you can use QuickNode, you can use Anchor. It's up to discussion and depending on how complex is your solution and what are you doing on blockchain? Yeah.
Any other questions? Yes.
Hello, thank you for the presentation. Could you briefly touch upon what is the business model of this? Specifically, where does the money for the game company come from, and how does it sustain itself with the gas fees and everything?
Okay, so there are multiple options regarding this. The first thing is you start your company with the vesting, like I told before, with the TRC20 tokens. The next option is by selling these NFTs, where the standard games are making the money. There are two options. They're doing the microtransactions or you're paying them for the CD key, right? So both of these options are doable on the blockchain, right? You can sell the CD key in the form of the NFT. What's good for the user, because he can be borrowing it between the friends. He can sell it after. He does have that real ownage of the in-game asset or of the game itself. And there are also more options, because you can allow the people to rent those NFTs like I told before, and you can grab some fee for that, for example.
So
was it enough, or?
Not quite. My question is, okay, so if I buy an NFT to get into a game, I have to buy an NFT to play a game because NFT is a character in the game, okay. And then I don't want to play it anymore. You said I can sell it to someone else, but how does the company get money for that? Isn't like reselling the CD keys?
If you use it,
companies?
If you sell it over our market, our own market, you'll be going to get the fee for that selling. So that's the first option for the income. The second thing is we don't need to get money on every in-game asset. Like for example, the Battlefield. I buy the Battle Pass, I get how much? 200 assets? They're not making money on them. They made the money on the Battle Pass. So what we can do, what we will actually do, is that we will have cheap Battle Passes, and those Battle Passes will be generating those NFTs. We pay the fees for the NFTs from the Battle Passes, and the rest of the price of the Battle Pass is ours. So this is another good point for the monetization. You still can hold like private tournaments. You still can implement something that Poker got, that the people will be able to be betting and getting the fees. But these aren't related to the games, so we stick to the Battle Passes in our company.
Okay, thank you. One last question is, how do you account for players or users that are in it for the investment? Because this is usually in a clash when there are NFT games. There are the vesting investors in the beginning, and they are looking at the monetary value. And then there are players that actually just want to play the game. And usually there is a discrepancy of how to...
Yes, like bridge between these two guys are the renting of the NFTs. Because the investor will buy the NFT because he wants to make money. He wants to hold the NFT for 1 year. It's called NFT flipping. They just buy the NFT from the games that may be out in 1 year. And when it comes out, they sell the NFTs. Another option is to rent those NFTs. They don't need to be selling them, they can be renting them.
Okay, so you believe this can be actually with the same price range for a regular player? Like if I want to play your game, I will pay, let's say, 40 euros within, I don't know, 2 years or something like that?
Actually,
or you know what I mean, like whether all of these gas fees and all these things are more efficient.
It's up to owner of the NFT. He can preset any price he wants to get for renting for 1 month. And the NFT getting locked in our smart contract, so it's again transparent, and getting returned to his wallet after. During this lock, there is a message which wallet is able to use that NFT. So the people that are 1 year waiting to flip the NFTs can that year use for the renting. And like in our games, you don't need to pay anything, to buy anything, to have any NFT, to be like playing our game. But like you don't need to buy any hero to play like League of Legends. But if you want to play your favorite hero of whole year, not only when it's randomized, you need to buy it. It's absolutely same. And these investors can be renting those. For example, I don't want to buy this hero because I don't know if I will like it. It costs 40 euro, for example. But here is the guy that will rent it for me for 5 euro. So I will test it. And the investor getting 5 euros out of the holding the NFTs. The investor can still use our staking. They can lock TRC20 tokens and get some NFTs in return after some period of the time, for example. So investors got a lot of options how to monetize this.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Slido is also. So, thank you guys.
Thank you.